Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fiscal Philosophy YouTube channel. I consider myself a value investor. I talk about value investing quite often. Stocks that I buy, stocks that are on my watch list, what I'm interested in, discounted cash flow models, balance sheets, the whole ordeal. Now, this video is really about this first YouTube paycheck. It's about $137.76. And hey, this is an accomplishment. I think every person that makes a YouTube channel in the first place and gets serious about it, this is the thing that they're striving for in those first stages of YouTube. And we got there in less than a year. So, while I'm going to pat myself on the back, I am going to say, honestly, if I only knew at the beginning and had the skills at the beginning that I have now, I think we would have gotten there in probably half the time. But at the same time, everything's a learning curve. But if you extrapolate this out to how many hours I spent getting there, the return on my time is quite small. But there are other intangibles, of course, along the way. For example, I learned a lot of skills in terms of creating compelling thumbnails and titles. And sometimes they're still hit or miss, honestly. So not every single title, not every single thumbnail is a banger and gets that great click-through rate. But I do think, I have come a long way in that sense of knowing how to market. And also, I will say, I think that this process has made me a better investor overall. As some of you might know, the YouTube comment section can tend to contain some of the harshest criticisms when somebody disagrees with one of your ideas or opinions or information in your video. If they do, you're going to hear about it. That's what I learned. And having to, sort of field those concerns, parry and counter those comments, and have those tough conversations, I think has made me a more thoughtful and better investor in the last just under 1 year. So 2023 has definitely been a year of personal and, value investor growth for me. I think that, honestly, what I've gained this year is way, way more than just the few bucks that YouTube has deposited into my account. And I think that the main thing I need to work on with regards to the channel now, because at the beginning, you may remember, there was zero editing of any kind, and there may or may not be much editing in this video, but there was zero editing of any kind. The thumbnails were like things that I randomly copied and pasted into Microsoft Paint and then threw up onto the video. And that was pretty much it. And shockingly, I started to gain some traction with just that. Eventually, though, I realized, hey, if I want the best results, I need to do better at things. So I started out by figuring out, okay, how can I make better looking thumbnails that'll really be more like eye-grabbing? And so I spent some time on that. The first couple I tried, doing at a higher quality didn't necessarily land, but eventually I started to get that part figured out. My click-through rate, etc., tended to get a little bit better after that, and that was cool. And then I said, hey, these videos, maybe I could add, some basic edits, some B-roll, stock footage, whatever. Maybe I could add some, more defined cuts and transitions between different parts of financial statements, and really segment the videos in a slightly more structured way in a lot of cases. And I started doing that. I experimented with background music, which I usually do include, but like, I try to make it so that it's not overpowering or distracting in most cases. I might have gone a little overboard on my Christmas video, but, it was a good time. So basically, it's been a journey of learning and developing a creative process of some kind. And I'm hoping that I can go even further with it in 2024. Obviously, I need to get my upload frequency back up to a higher level. It used to be a lot better than it was. Obviously, I knew for a time it was going to slow down a little bit while I was still learning some of the basic things. But now that I've gotten a little bit more adept at using some of the tools I've been using, I think I need to push the envelope a little bit more again on frequency. There are people out there, those of you who watch and comment on a regular basis on these videos, who I know would like to see more, and I want to give that to you, and also give myself more opportunities to reach more people out there and fill the gaps, the content gaps that might be out there, and give people what they want to see. So that's something I definitely need to work on. I have aspirations to open up in other niches, and I don't know how much necessarily crossover appeal those other niches will have with the financial and investing content consumers that currently watch my stuff. But I think some of the lessons I've learned creating this content would apply across niches. So I think it's worth pursuing that as a possibility. So, maybe you'll see some of that stuff drop in 2024, at least in an experimental basis. If that starts to take off, I put more effort into it. Honestly, it would be living the dream to an extent to be able to get to the point where, hey, I can set up like an actual studio and, do content on the subject matter that I'm passionate about in a really serious way on, possibly even a full-time basis at some point. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, at least not necessarily anytime terribly soon, but I definitely think it could happen. It's not impossible, right? The majority of channels sort of flounder and die before they ever hit the monetization thresholds. So we've already beaten probably 95 or 96% of all channels that ever get created, if not more. And I think there's even higher heights that we can push this to. So this has been my first YouTube paycheck, and it's an inspiration, if anything, just to push even harder and do even better. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Consider giving me a like or subscribing to the video if you enjoy value investing and financial content. Take it easy, everyone, and don't forget to join us on Discord. Link is in the description. Cheers.